History is full of inventors who set out with grand visions, determined to change the course of humanity. Edison, Tesla, Bell, these are the names that often come to mind. Their innovations were the result of intense focus, rigorous experimentation, and a clear vision for the future. But what if I told you that one of the most revolutionary inventions of all time was created by sheer accident? What if a twist of fate and not genius became the spark for an idea that quietly transformed the world? This is the story of Thomas Branwell, an ordinary craftsman with no formal training, whose life took an extraordinary turn because of one unexpected moment in his workshop. Our story begins in the late 19th century, during a time of rapid technological change. Cities were growing, factories were booming, and new inventions seemed to emerge every day. In the middle of this technological whirlwind was Thomas Branwell, a humble watchmaker in a small industrial town. Thomas wasn't famous, nor was he ambitious. He spent his days repairing pocket watches and clockwork mechanisms, earning just enough to support his modest lifestyle. But after the shop doors closed for the day, Thomas's true passion emerged. Thomas was fascinated by machines, not just the intricate workings of watches, but all kinds of devices. He would spend hours dismantling old contraptions, trying to understand their inner workings. Unlike most people of his time, he wasn't intimidated by technology. Instead, he saw it as a puzzle waiting to be solved. And one puzzle captivated him more than anything else: electricity. At the time, electricity was a marvel of science. It had the potential to revolutionize industries and everyday life, but it was still out of reach for most ordinary people. Generators were large and expensive, and most homes and businesses relied on coal or steam for power. Thomas dreamed of changing that. He wanted to create something small, affordable, and practical, something that could bring electricity to anyone, anywhere. But how? He wasn't a scientist, and he didn't have access to fancy laboratories or state-of-the-art equipment. All he had were magnets, wires, and his unrelenting curiosity. Thomas's early experiments were, to put it kindly, rough. He built several hand-cranked devices that could generate small amounts of electricity. One of these prototypes, which he called the mechanical dynamo, was capable of powering a single light bulb or a tiny fan. It was far from perfect, but it worked. To Thomas, this was a breakthrough. But to his neighbors and customers, it was little more than a curiosity. They would chuckle as he demonstrated his crank-powered light bulb, politely nodding before moving on. After all, who wanted to spend their evenings cranking a machine just to keep the lights on? Despite the lack of enthusiasm, Thomas was undeterred. He believed his idea had potential, even if no one else could see it yet. One fateful evening, as rain lashed against his windows and thunder rumbled in the distance, Thomas decided to test a new version of his dynamo. This version was different. It was connected to a small generator he had borrowed from a friend. Thomas hoped the generator would give his device the extra boost it needed to produce more power. But what happened next was beyond anything he could have imagined. As Thomas flipped the switch, the dynamo roared to life. Sparks flew, the gears spun wildly, and the entire device seemed to shake with uncontrollable energy. Panicked, Thomas tried to shut it down, but it was too late. The machine overloaded, causing the magnets and wires to fuse together in a way he hadn't intended. Finally, the dynamo sputtered to a stop, leaving a trail of smoke in its wake. Thomas stared at the charred device, frustrated and disappointed, but as he examined it more closely, he noticed something remarkable. The overload had altered the machine in an unexpected way. The magnets and coils had created a feedback loop, allowing the dynamo to generate power without manual cranking. It wasn't perfect and it wasn't efficient, but it worked. For the first time, Thomas's machine was self-sustaining. This was no longer just a crank-powered gadget. It was the beginning of something revolutionary. Over the following months, Thomas worked tirelessly to refine his design. He replaced the damaged components, adjusted the configuration of the magnets, and experimented with different materials to improve efficiency. Slowly but surely, his dynamo became more powerful and more reliable. Word of his invention began to spread, and soon, local businessmen and engineers started paying attention. They saw what Thomas's neighbors had overlooked, the potential for this small, unassuming machine to change the world. In 1892, Thomas was invited to showcase his invention at a regional trade fair. It was the first time he had presented his work to the public, and he was anxious. Would anyone care? Would they understand what they were seeing? As the crowd gathered, Thomas demonstrated his self-sustaining dynamo, powering several devices at once. The audience was stunned. Among them was Samuel Hargrove, a wealthy industrialist with a keen eye for innovation. Hargrove immediately saw the potential of Thomas's invention and offered to fund its development on a larger scale. With Hargrove's backing, Thomas scaled up production of his dynamo, creating larger and more powerful versions for industrial use. These machines quickly replaced the bulky steam engines that had been the backbone of industry for decades. The compactness and efficiency of Branwell's dynamo offered a flexibility that steam engines could never achieve, allowing factories to reimagine their layouts and workflows. Machines could be placed closer to production lines, reducing downtime and increasing output. Industries that had once been limited by the high costs and logistical challenges of steam power began to thrive, and new businesses emerged, driven by the accessibility of Branwell's innovation. This transformation extended beyond factories. Cities began to light up both literally and figuratively, as Branwell's technology was adapted for public infrastructure. Streetlights powered by electricity became a common sight, extending working hours and enabling nighttime commerce. Electrified public transportation systems, including trams and trolleys, began to replace horse-drawn carriages, making urban travel faster, more reliable, and less reliant on animal labor. These changes not only improved daily life, but also stimulated urban growth as cities became hubs of economic and cultural activity. The demand for electricity skyrocketed, creating a new industry dedicated to power generation and distribution. Electric utilities sprang up across the country, and the development of electrical grids began in earnest. Branwell's dynamo was the heart of these systems. Its design adapted and expanded to meet the growing need for power. Factories, homes, and even rural areas began to connect to these grids, marking the dawn of the electrified age. Branwell's invention became a cornerstone of the Second Industrial Revolution, accelerating progress in ways that touched nearly every aspect of life. Despite his monumental contributions today, the name Thomas Branwell isn't as well known as it should be. His accidental discovery laid the groundwork for much of the modern world, yet he never sought the fame or fortune that others might have. His story is a powerful reminder that some of the greatest breakthroughs come not from meticulous planning, but from curiosity, persistence, and a little bit of luck. Branwell's modesty, combined with his lack of formal education and connections to scientific elites, meant that his legacy was often overshadowed by more prominent figures of the time, like Edison and Tesla. However, the true measure of Branwell's impact lies not in his personal fame, but in the enduring influence of his work. His dynamo didn't just power machines, it powered dreams. It made electricity an everyday reality rather than an expensive luxury. It empowered inventors, engineers, and entrepreneurs to push the boundaries of what was possible. From the first electric motor to the development of renewable energy technologies, the innovations that followed Branwell's invention owe a debt to his accidental discovery. In many ways, Branwell's story is emblematic of the unsung innovators who quietly shaped the world. He was a craftsman, not a scientist, a tinkerer, not a theorist. Yet his unrelenting curiosity and willingness to embrace failure allowed him to achieve what others could not. His life serves as a testament to the idea that greatness can emerge from the most unexpected places and that even small sparks can ignite monumental change. Today, historians and engineers are beginning to rediscover Branwell's contributions, ensuring that his name isn't entirely lost to time. Museums and academic institutions have started to highlight his role in the electrical revolution, and his dynamo designs are studied as milestones in engineering history. While Branwell may not have sought recognition, his story continues to inspire, reminding us that behind every great leap forward are individuals who dared to dream, tinker, and persist, even when the odds were against them. Thomas Branwell's legacy, though understated, remains a vital part of the narrative of progress. His accidental innovation didn't just change industries, it changed lives. It made the impossible possible and set humanity on a path toward a brighter, more connected future. And in doing so, it ensured that even the humblest of beginnings could lead to the most extraordinary of outcomes.